Hi everyone, welcome to week 3 of the speech series by Where We Are One, a platform where I am dedicated to giving the public information that I'm learning and that I find works best. I currently am working as an SLPA in an elementary school, and these are my top 5 tips and tricks. It's important because for decades the literacy rate was on an incline, but within the last couple of years that line has gone flat. And to me, this data shows that there is some kind of disconnect in academia, that children are not picking up on it, and we see them coming in below grade level into preschool and then into elementary school. So there's definitely some things we can be doing as educators, as SLPAs, as SLPs, as para-educators, as BCBAs, as parents that can help increase their phonological awareness. So phonemic awareness is being able to understand the unit of sound in written and spoken language. So when someone has issues with this, you're going to see problems in all areas. Academically, you're going to see it socially, and you're going to see it at home, because all of which are circled around a social interaction. And if they're not able to correctly read or write what it is that they're trying to, mutual gaze, understand or express, it's not going to be easy for them, and they're going to find a lot of difficulty with it. So first, there is something that we do need to consider. Being in the United States, there are a ton of dialects, and as clinicians, we have to be considerate of the different language structures and rules to different dialects. For example, I wanted to give this example. Vernacular English, it is very common to delete the final consonant for sounds. If you come and meet an individual who deletes their final consonants for some words, you may think that it's a phonological processing disorder, but this is entirely natural and correct for that dialect. So we need to make sure that we're not trying to correct something that isn't wrong. That's a difference, that's not a disorder. So we do have to consider a holistic look of the individual. So that's looking at their childhood, looking at their family history, looking at their academic abilities, where do they stand as far as their peers, and most importantly, their interests. We have to get to know them on a personal level and know what makes them tick, know what gets them excited and motivated in order to work. So once we consider this variety of different dialects, we also need to consider some other holistic information prior to even giving services. So that's going to be the person's values. Do they appreciate an individual who talks really loud? Do they appreciate an individual that talks softly, allows them to speak when do they need more patience? These are all things that we have to consider as far as their value and what they're looking for as someone trying to teach them. Secondly, in order to be relatable to who it is that we're trying to get a response out of, we have to be aware of etymology and how language has just changed from generation to generation. It's not going to work if you're talking to kids and you're using Old English or professional language. They're not going to relate to you, and it might not be as interesting if you're you're in the know and you can resonate with them as a child. So next thing would be the paralinguistics. As the clinician, there are a lot of delivery specific aspects that we have to be mindful of as far as our facial expressions: raised eyebrows, lowered, burrowed eyebrows, smiling or frowning. There's a lot that they can get from that, as well as your pitch, your rate of speech, your gestures, how you're moving your hands, if you have any pauses. All of these help regulate a flow of therapy. So if you're talking too fast and you're waving your hands and you get all frantic and you spill your drink like I did for a session, you have to remain calm. You have to monitor these things in order to embody and model someone who's calm and knows what they're doing. They're not going to take someone serious who is yelling at them or who just wants them to sit down. Like, we have to meet them where they are and understand them as individuals. So it's really important that we know this information, because when the nervous system of a child or an adult is calm, because they understand our energy that we're bringing, it allows them to have a stronger neural circuit connection when they are in therapy. And this will help them generalize it out of therapy, because it'll be a stronger remembrance when they're in the moment or struggling to get something out. It's going to make it click a lot better. And so long term, this is definitely a tool that is useful and important. More important than I think people realize. And for the juice, here's the juice. My 5 activities that are going to help elicit any kind of phonetic response that you're looking to. So they're not hard at all, and they're pretty common, actually. When kids are in preschool, there's the phonetic alphabet song. I'm going to link a Montessori school video here, or put it in the caption below. And that's a great resource for just kind of broadening their knowledge apart from the ABC song, because ABC is only 26 letters, but the phonetic alphabet is 44 sounds. So to cover the English language, that doesn't entirely do it. We should really be pushing this phonetic song to get them familiar with the actual sounds that they're going to be using in language. The next one is this right here. They're called the Elkonin boxes. And so this tool is really great at segmenting sounds in a word. And so if we do the word cat, for example, C-A-T, these dots here are going to signify like this individual sound, and then this longer arrow here is telling you to blend all of those sounds together. I'll give an example at the end as far as how to model this, but cat is the gist. The next one is going to also using this, but in more so the matter of explaining to them how words are organized. You don't just have TTPB, no. Usually consonant, vowel, or consonant, vowel. In the case of cat, it's consonant, vowel, consonant. And just explaining this to them is going to help make the connection between where their tongue's going to go, because vowels are entirely different than consonants. There's a lot more tongue movement for consonants. So the next thing is to teach pseudo words, so non-words. And what this does is really helps them view language as a game and play with it, and kind of really solidify the connection points between letters and motor movement and sound, which sound is just the result, but those two together create sound. The last thing is alliteration. So alliteration is coming up with a sentence that, this is once they move past the sound level, they can move on to words. So we could, and then words, we can move on to phrases. Alliteration is basically taking the same sound in the initial position for each word of that sentence, but mixing it up with different vowels and consonants after. So it would be, for example, Teddy takes Tuesdays to relax. Like I said in my last video, this is really going to help co-articulation and just kind of blending sounds in from one another and all the different combinations that we could have in the English language. So yeah, those are basically my tips and trick. I'll go over them again. We have the phonetic alphabet, Elkonin boxes, syntactic organization, pseudo words, and alliteration. So these are all amazing tools that I've found really work in therapy for phonological articulation disorders. So lastly, I will model a session with the kid with this. So alright, so what I have here is an Elkonin box. They're called Elkonin, and we're going to take a word and we're going to put each letter in the box. So let's take the word cat. C, and what goes here? A, and what goes here? T. Okay, so this sound, review it with them. Review what sound it is that you're working on with them. So C says K, and A says Yeah. Hey, you're right. Okay, it sounded funny there. But moving on. T means t. So basically, you're going to then do it yourself. You're going to do it together. We're going to do it together. Ready? C-A-T. Cat. Cat. Once we do it together, I'm going to hand it to you. And you're going to do this all by yourself. Okay? So it really helps them self-regulate and then, have the tools in their toolbox for the real world. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my video on phonological awareness. Next week I'll hopefully be touching on it again. But yeah, I really enjoy putting this information out there for you guys. I think there's a lot more to learn as far as service delivery, therapy delivery, and yeah, hopefully with the help of these tools, you can get someone to get those p in their b. Have a great day, everyone. Happy Earth Day, and make sure you say thanks to Mother Nature. Bye. See you next week.